Ariel's gonna go to night-night. Please let go.
Apartheid state!
Israel is an apartheid state!
And the occupation now!
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 Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Friends and comrades, for those that don't know me, my name is Clarence Thomas. I'm a third-generation longshoreman. I'm here today speaking not as an official representative of my local. As many of you may know, we're involved in very, very difficult and protracted contract negotiations. But that does not silence my voice. And I want everybody here to know today, an injury to one is an injury to all. Tear down the Israeli apartheid wall. Let me first of all say that I'm proud of the history of my local because I think that we have been a sterling example for the entire working class. This is not merely a protest today. We've had protest marches all over the country. This is about resistance. People who are occupied, resistance is justified. That's one of the most important slogans that I've heard here today. What you need to understand, I'm a longshoreman. I make my living right here. But what you have done is have the Zim vessel reluctant to come in because you're here. What you're doing today is going to be heard around the world. I know a little bit about that because I know the importance of what the actions taken by my union in the 1980s to refuse to unload cargo for South Africa for 11 days. And what that meant to the people of South Africa. Many of you here have white skin privilege, and I'm glad that you're here. But for me, an African American, I just want to say that I have a personal connection with what's going on with the people in Gaza. Because for me, growing up in America, the police has always been an occupying force. When we see today, in the 21st century, a young black man, a youth, shot down in broad daylight like a dog and left on the streets for 4 hours. What does that tell us? That tells us that we here in Ferguson, in San Francisco, and other parts of the country have a connection to the people in Gaza. People in Gaza are sending us text messages to the people in Ferguson saying, this is how you deal with tear gas. We're communicating. The people in Ferguson are now relating directly with the people in Gaza. The spirit of the people is greater than the man's technology. Isn't it ironic that Zim can enjoy coming to this country to have its goods unloaded, but yet it's been over 4 decades since a ship at Gaza has been allowed to be unloaded? I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap it up. But take this message with you today. This action has to be duplicated at other ports around the country for people to understand. Because it is you, the people, that make change, not the leaders. It's us. And in conclusion, an injury to one is an injury to all. Tear down the Israeli wall. Let's say it again. An injury to one is an injury to all. Tear down the Israeli wall. An injury to one is an injury to all.
Tear down the Israeli wall.
All power to the people.
It killed on these occupied Ohlone land
people you don't want to see, never want to be, look away from me. What you gonna do, arrest me? I'm in your city. I'm the poverty scholar. I rocked this attire because me and my po mama did jail time. Just trying to stay alive in this holler. Yeah, I don't wear the jail suit because the orange is cute. Me and my mama, African Taino, I am the melanin challenge daughter of my strong black Indian mama, for without whom there would be no me. And I bring that up because our Taino brothers and sisters, just like our Ohlone brothers and sisters upon whose land we are standing, were removed by that same settler colonialism that is killing our brothers and sisters in Palestine. And so we need to connect the dots. And large academic institutions like UC Berkeley and Stanford and all these places that surround us, they are in bed with these colonizers because they are launched by them. So let's not pretend that only the bad Israelis are the only ones, right? We already know that they're the bad guys. There's all the people that support them. Because without all the supporters, the quiet, covert supporters of settler colonizers, they couldn't keep doing their business. So I just want to have you repeat after me. Settler colonialism kills! Settler colonialism kills! And it already done kill our Ohlone brothers and sisters who are not even a recognized tribe in this stolen land. I speak to you, my brothers and sisters, from my family at Prensa Pobre Poor magazine. We are homeless, landless peoples in the United Snakes of America, KKK. And when our brothers and sisters in Ferguson are shot, we also are worrying about our folks in Oakland, our folks in LA, Ezell Ford. Get out here, Kenny Hardin Jr. Get out here, Oscar Grant, because we're all connected. Thank you very much. All proud of people!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
From the Oscar Grant Committee. Apparently, the ship is docked right here. And these young people, they called us and asked us to come back out and picket to block the ship, and we're doing so. The longshoremen will be dispatched, will be here, and we'll see what happens when they get here, because everything hinges on what the longshoremen do. The fact of the matter is, a lot of the longshoremen are sympathetic to this issue, to the Palestinians in this issue. It will be interesting to see. I can't predict it. I can't call it. But I tend to think there's a lot of sympathy for the Palestinian cause amongst the longshoremen. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not all that different from the struggle against apartheid with the Ned Lloyd Kimberley that came in. I think that, you know, it's not unusual for capitalist societies to have trade, and all trade has to take place on boats. So that's not surprising. What is surprising for me, though, is we had 5,000 people out here yesterday.
Marie Davis. I am out here because it is unbelievable how they're exterminating people in Palestine, and it feels familiar. It's happened over and over. It happened in this country with the Native people. It happened to my people. It's just people lose their minds sometimes, and they just start killing the hell out of each other. And I think that when people's awareness and their consciousness gets up-leveled, when people have to hear something a lot of times before they are willing to do something, they have to have space in their consciousness to be able to hold that people are suffering somewhere else. They have to have enough space in their consciousness. And if they're, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. When I was younger, I didn't. And now I do. I think it's a pattern. It's a pattern of, I think human beings are at a certain level in their consciousness where they just lose their minds and they have no empathy for other people. And the same consciousness that they had in South Africa, the same consciousness they had in America when they exterminated the Indians, the same consciousness they had when they enslaved Africans, is the consciousness they have now. I mean, if their consciousness was better, they wouldn't have done it. It happened to them in Nazi Germany, but their consciousness wasn't raised, so they have the same consciousness of, you don't know, if you just are kind of mindless and you go through your life, you don't know how you're going to behave when you have the opportunity to oppress somebody. If you don't ever think about what you would do in that kind of situation, you don't know how you're going to react.
Margaret. I'm here to protest against the Israeli bombardment of Gaza and the lack of human rights.
Over here, in front of the ship.
Ship, it's hard to tell, but you know, very far away. Very far away.
Okay. So. Okay,
no, it's okay.
Israel is massacring children. They've killed more than 400 children. In 2009, they killed another 400 children. They have the siege of Gaza. The people can't get in or out. They are virtually prisoners, and we are paying for it with our tax dollars. They have $100 billion to Israel. Well, our port needs work, our overpasses need work, our bridges need work, and we're sending all of our money to Israel. That's why I'm here. It's a human rights issue.
Why are the politicians speaking out in favor of Israel?
They get their free trip to Israel, and they get a lot of money from Israel. They get AIPAC, gives them hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. It's quite clear. They even brag about how they control the Congress. So that's why.
Are you surprised by Barbara Lee's silence on the massacre?
I'm very surprised. I'm very sorry to hear that the politicians don't stand up for human rights for every person, not just for Israelis. Where's the security for the people in Gaza? Where's the security for people in the West Bank who've been under occupation for 60 years? The people in Gaza are refugees from 1948 and from 1967, when they were expelled by Israel. So the whole thing needs to change, and we need to change our foreign policy. That's why I'm here.
Do you think you're going to have an effect?
I don't know. It's a little by little. You light one candle, or you curse the darkness. So I'm lighting my candle here.
Okay, thank you.
What's your name again?
My name's Margaret.
Okay.
Where are you from?
San Francisco, KPFA.
KPFA.
Dr. Hassan Fouda.
And why are you here today?
I'm here today. If the people in Gaza boats are not allowed to dock in Gaza, Israeli boats should not be allowed to dock anywhere, because human rights are indivisible. Justice here is connected to justice there. The crime against humanity being committed as we speak in Gaza. The Gaza was completely destroyed by Israel, and we in the whole world to take notice. When the Holocaust happened, people were silent. This is another Holocaust. It's a genocide against the Palestinian people. Has been going on long enough, and it needs to stop. Unless everybody in the world get together before it's too late, we all need to do that.
And why do you think the United States government has been silent in the Congress about what's been going on in Gaza? They're giving more weapons, they're giving more money.
It is very shameful. One reason I'm here also, because I'm an American citizen, I'm a taxpayer. And it hurt me greatly to see my tax money going to support that operation in Palestine and elsewhere. In Palestine, I mean, the United States helped Israel to commit this crime. Israel will not be able to commit this crime without support from us. So as Americans, we have more responsibility to stop it. It does it because the politicians are subject to pressure by interest group. And everyone knows that the Zionist Israel lobby is very strong. And they all frankly are afraid because many of the politicians who have principal position in this issue suffer from the Israel lobby, lost their job.
Pete McCloskey?
Pete McCloskey is one of the other one. Cynthia McKinney, another one.
So if you speak out, any congressperson that speaks out is retribution?
It used to be the case. I mean, maybe you should read the book, They Dare to Speak Out by former Congressman Paul Finley in Illinois, who had also that experience, who probably one of the first victims of the Israel lobby.
And were you here yesterday?
Yes, I was.
What did you think about that march and rally yesterday?
That march rally was very uplifting. I mean, certainly there was several thousand people. I don't know what the official number is. I am very disappointed that the local mainstream media either ignore it or put wrong information. For example, in the Guardian in England described the march and said like 2,000 or 3,000 people. The Channel 2 News, they said about 100. Yeah? Contra Costa Time, locally, this morning said about 500. So the local people, the local mainstream, they're afraid to tell the truth, which is really unbelievable.
You find that shocking?
I find it very shocking that they ignore that it's a local issue here. I mean, I didn't look what the Oakland Tribune had, if it has a story or not. But certainly the Contra Costa Time, 100 people or 500 people, it's amazing.
What does that tell you about the media covering?
Well, the media is bought and paid for. I mean, either those people are either afraid of the backlash or they're completely uninformed. I mean, I suspect they are just afraid and they are not used to have good information about this issue. There is also people in the media have been the subject of at the receiving end of Zionist lobby before. I mean, I know people who lost their jobs.
Who lost their jobs?
I mean, there was, I don't have name at my fingertip right now, but I know there were several journalists in a Jewish newspaper in the Midwest. I mean, a Jewish journalist, wrote about Palestine and she lost her job. And I'm sure there are some other examples.
So there's retribution against them.
There's retribution for anybody to speak in favor of human rights, international law.
And what kind of doctor are you?
I'm a medicinal chemist. I'm a PhD chemist.
I see. And do you think that people in this country are starting to wake up? I mean, it seems like...
I see there's certainly a great deal of waking up in this country. Certainly in our area. I mean, certainly we live certainly in the Bay Area. It's probably very unusual in the rest of the country. But I have connection. I used to live in the East Coast, and I could see a great deal of transformation in the last 10 years.
So you're optimistic?
I am very optimistic in the long run because I don't think the injustice would be sustainable. Certainly Israelis themselves will change. Tactic like boycott, divestment, sanction would have a great deal of effect. Action like this, I was in contact with some friend in Palestine today, and I was told the action yesterday was all over the news in Israel, Palestine. So people over there know, even though American may not know, but over there they know about it.
So people there are more aware of what's going on here.
They are more over here. I think the action in Oakland, I was told in Israel, everybody in Israel knew about this action yesterday.
I was here yesterday as well, but Nazreen Kadir.
And why are you here?
Why I'm here is because the year I was born is when we had the Nakba, the great catastrophe in 1948. And my father served with the Royal Air Force in 1944 to free Hitler, to free the Jews from Hitler, and I never thought we'd be living to see this catastrophe play out in 2014. And it's just sickening that the first week of Ramadan this year, we have all these babies with blown out skulls. This is just ridiculous. And to think that this Operation Protective Edge that Israel rolled out was pre-planned, was premeditated. Moshe Yaalon knew exactly what he was doing. They had these dime bombs. They're claiming that they're going to do precision targeting and precise technology. And a week into it, when the Obama administration realized that this is indiscriminate bombing and there's a lot of casualties, it was too late for them to say anything in Washington, and they all, it's like cat got their tongues, right? So here we are, and this nonsense is going on. So we're here today because of the boat, the Zim. Israel had this boat that comes to the Port of Oakland. It was supposed to arrive Friday night. They delayed it. It was floating up and down the coast. We were here yesterday. The port didn't dock. The boat didn't dock. And then we heard it was going to be docking today. And the shift started at 6. So word is that most of the workers have gone home. So we're waiting to see the rest of them. But this is what we did to end apartheid. This is what we did for Central America. This is what we got to do for Palestine. Because it's not going to happen anywhere else, any place else, and by any other means, So that's why I'm here.
So people have to do it themselves. They can't rely on the U.S. government?
It seems, well, the U.S. government is arming Israel, right? They're giving them the means, the technology. This afternoon I was at a prep meeting for the Urban Shield that's going to happen in Oakland at Marriott in September. So it's all tied in. I mean, we have this police, military, prison industrial complex. It is just keep strangulating all of us across the planet, right? And all we're doing to solve, we're not solving problems, we're bombing people. How does that solve any of humanity's problems? We're bombing people.
So if this ship is forced to leave, what do you think that means?
Well, if the ship is forced to leave, hopefully it will send a sign to Israel, don't try this port anymore. Hopefully that's what it means, right? Don't try this port anymore. It's a strong message. We don't want you here. We're not going to support apartheid. And that's what I hope it means. So I don't know if it's going to roll out tonight or what it's going to do, but the fact that we delayed the unload for 2 days, it's got to be costing some money, right? So we got to hit, this is what the BDS is all about, the boycott, divest, sanctions, because we've got to hit, Hamas, which is a resistance group, doesn't have military arsenal the way Israel has. This is not an equal war between two people. This is a resistance group defending the people of Palestine. And so we got to support them. They've got to do what they've got to do. And so I don't know where this is going to, what's going to play out with the ship. But if I'm a very active Twitterer, if I'm not on Twitter, I wouldn't know anything. I don't even listen to the news anymore because it's just propaganda. CNN, Fox, ABC, it's just all propaganda. I think the young people, I think the young people in social media, if it weren't for the social media, the word was not gonna, we wouldn't get the word out as we did in this intifada, right? So it's not business as usual anymore. I think the tide has turned. I think that close to 500 children, infants, Steve, babies, blasted with their heads open. I don't think humanity has tolerance for this anymore. This is not justified. This is not self-defense, right? You want to fight Hamas, go fight them in the Sinai. Have a shootout with them in the Sinai. Don't drop bombs in people's homes, taking out whole families. And then you tell them to go to the UN shelters, you bomb them there. They go to the hospital, you bomb them there. This is targeted assassination. It's genocide, right? So I don't know what's happening in Cairo today. They've got the truce talks going, but something's got to give. Something's got to give. It cannot be business as usual, whatever it takes. I haven't taken to the streets since Bush invaded Iraq, right? Before that, it was apartheid. It was South Africa. Before it was Central America. It was Vietnam. It seems like it's never ends, and it seems like it's only when we come out in force and take to the streets that something happens, right? So we have to support the young people. They have the energy, they have the savvy, they know what's going on. We have to support them, we have to guide them. If not, they're gonna get turned off, you know? So that's why.
I'm Shalshwitlekwea Akul Anawak.
And what's going on here today?
I'm here to support blocking the boat from unloading here in the Port of Oakland.
And why is that?
Because I support the blockade of the Israeli goods coming into the U.S. and I'm here to support basically the children of Palestine.
What's happened to the children of Palestine?
Basically, what we've been hearing in the last couple of weeks is the Israeli government using our tax dollars have been, bombing Palestine, their hospitals, the daycare centers, the children's places. Many children have been dying. Innocent children and families have been dying, all with our tax dollars. So I'm here to show support for the children, the families, and basically to blockade all Israeli goods, because I don't think my tax dollars should be used for colonization purposes, basically, right? I mean, Israelis trying to take over all of the land in Palestine, and we know about genocide. We know about what happened to Native Americans here in this continent. We know what happened to our ancestors, the Mexica, what is so-called America, which was Anahuac. And so we didn't have all this electronic information to get solidarity and support, but it's basically the same thing that's been happening for 500, 600, many years to many indigenous people. Palestinian people are indigenous people. So I'm here to support them and to support them to continue to stay on their land. Basically, that's their indigenous land. They have a right to be there, and they don't have we don't have the right to use our tax monies basically to throw them off their land.
You think this is going to have an effect?
I think it's already had an effect. If you look behind us, there's a ship called the Zim that's just sitting there. The workers, there's a big meeting going on right now, the ILWU. They're basically discussing what to do. So if we move, then the workers will have to go and unload the shipment that's sitting on that boat right now. But as long as we stay here, the workers that are coming to work see the picket line, and they have to go check in with the labor union to see if they need to stop and try to get in or not. And so I think our presence has already had a major impact, not just here in Oakland, California, but throughout the world. In many ports like this, we're stopping these boats. And I think that's what we need to do. More people need to come out and show support for, who wants to support children dying in the United States and in Palestine. So basically that's why I'm here.
So you think that there's a connection between what's going on in Palestine and what's going on in the United States?
Yes, oh definitely, yes, definitely. There's so many children that, it's murder. I mean, take away a police officer's guns, right? I mean, make it equal, right? And so we don't, you don't need to be shooting kids going to the store to buy, candy. You don't need to be shooting kids because they come and knock on your door and ask for help, right? So basically, it's the same thing. It's just a different country, different situation, but in essence, it's the same thing. It's murdering people of color, children.